All right, good evening and happy Saturday night. Happy first day of June and happy first day of hurricane season, first day of meteorological summer. June begins a new level of weather here in South Texas and across the South and even across the state, really. If you have any questions about the forecast, feel free to comment down below. We'll get started in just a moment, making sure audio is working A-OK on this Saturday night. How's everyone's weekend doing? Outside it is mostly cloudy but dry. The only rain we've seen earlier this evening was out west beyond, Del Rio towards West Texas along the dry line, way away from us here in San Antonio. But if you're heading out this evening, it's warm, 80s and 90s, a little humid. We've seen a returning southeast wind, and that has jump-started our humid trend and will ultimately lead to a very hot forecast down the line as we kickstart June. Again, it's June 1st, the beginning of hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean, and also the first day of meteorological summer. Meteorologists like to look at the season based on months, not based on solstice and equinoxes. So, for example, the first day of astronomical summer, I believe, is June 20th. That's when the Earth reaches a certain position around the sun. And sunlight is the most intense along the northern hemisphere. But for meteorologists to keep data in a very organized look and more analyzing climate and things like that, we like to look at it by June, July, August. That's summertime. Meteorological fall is September, October, November. Winter is December, January, and February. Meteorological spring is March, April, May. So just kind of in 3-month increments, that's how we look at the seasons when you're talking to meteorologists. It's just how it is. And it's easier to organize data in that fashion based on month and monthly groups as well. But anyway, so outside now it is mostly cloudy and it is warm. Again, first day of hurricane season. Nothing out there at the moment, but notice, look at some of the names that are on deck for the 2024 Atlantic season. It is going to be, it's expected to be pretty active because of a trending La Nina pattern. What that means is cooler waters in the Pacific Ocean, but how that impacts the Atlantic, it actually decreases the amount of wind shear, and what that does is jumpstarts more Atlantic storms and more hurricanes. So take a look at some of the names for this Atlantic season. From June 1st to November 30th, that is when hurricane season is. It starts with Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, through Joyce, Kirk, and Leslie, wrapping up with Tony, Valerie, and William. So that is the 2024 Atlantic season. A total of 21 names. Back in 2020, if you remember, the Atlantic season got so active that we had to cross over to a secondary set list of names, which was the Greek alphabet. First time it's ever happened ever in history, in recorded history, I should say. But yeah, so we're expecting an active season. I think the forecast is calling anywhere from 18 to 22 storms, named storms in the Atlantic Ocean. Some of that, drifting near the Caribbean islands, near Mexico, near the East Coast, near the Gulf of Mexico. So just because we name 21 named storms in a forecast doesn't mean all of them are going to make it anywhere near us. Okay, so just to reiterate, it is meteorological summer. That is the beginning of June. June 1st kickstart summer. And again, meteorological seasons are broken down into 3-month increments. Summer is June, July, August. Spring is March, April, May. And fall is September, October, November, and so on and so forth. Outside, it is cloudy and a little hazy. 88 degrees, feels like 98. So really just still extremely warm outside. And I would say extremely humid. But thankfully, we have a solace outside. And that makes it feel not as bad, and that's the winds. They're not windy, but they are a touch breezy at times. Occasional wind gusts near 15 to 20 miles an hour. The airport is picking up on a sustained wind speed of 16, so it's not terrible. Humidity is up, though. It's right in the middle 70s, that dew point, so it's very humid outside, which is adding to the heat index value here in the South Texas region and across the state, really. Okay, 85 at Bandera, 90 at Hondo, 90 at Calaveras Lake. Good evening, Anthony. Happy June. Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, Guadalupe. Yeah, we have some rain chances in the forecast, Guadalupe, not a lot. And if we do see any rain over the next several days, I think it'll be primarily evenings, overnights, while you're sleeping. Earlier on Friday, that was awesome. We saw a pretty good complex of storms moving from the north. And that's what happens in late May and early June. And sometimes throughout the spring, you'll get these outflows in North Texas between Lubbock, Dallas, San Angelo. And they'll work their way all the way south towards San Antonio, but it'll happen in the overnight because daytime heat during the day pops off storms. And depending on the setup, sometimes those storms, if they can last that long, can travel all the way down I-10, all the way down to the coast. And those are outflow boundaries. And that's what we had earlier on Friday. Early morning showers, early morning storms, thunder and lightning. It was pretty good. And we have some of that action possible later on next week. Monday night, Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. 80s and 90s on the map. Let's show you the forecast. I do want to show you two different models, two different opinions on what to expect. Kirk, my name is Kirk. I'm scared. Why are you scared, man? Let me know. Guadalupe will take what we can get, absolutely. Hopefully we can get some good rain. We're hoping for that to happen. Canyon, oh yeah, Canyon Lake, Kirk. Oh, I had some friends over at Canyon Lake a couple weeks ago. And I asked, how was it? And they said it was wonderful, but the lake has really gone down in level. And I think the latest report we did on the lake levels across the region, Medina Lake, by the way, like 2% full, terrible for Medina Lake. Canyon Lake, I think, is somewhere between 55 and 60% full right now. And this time last year, I think it was around 75 to 80% full. So it's really gone down over the last 12 months. It's really trending in the wrong direction. So Canyon Lake, we do need rain. Everywhere we need rain. The Guadalupe River is so slow. We got a report, and I think I saw on their Facebook, the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority picked up on some of the river flows between the Hill Country and I-35, like at 3 to 10 CFS. CFS is cubic feet per second, and it's just really stagnant water along the Guadalupe. It does improve a little bit, at the Comal and I-35, New Braunfels area, where people actually, majority of people go and float the river, but by and large, the rivers and the lakes are low, the rivers are slow, they're stagnant water. It's not like it should be, especially this time of year when we're trying to get to the rivers and those bodies of water and trying to cool off. So, yeah, Kirk, it's very slow, unfortunately. 2 hurricanes named. Yeah, let me go back, Kirk. You got to, we updated the list, but there you go. Yeah, Hurricane Kirk. We'll see if that happens, man. Hopefully it's not a landfalling hurricane here in the U.S., but it's interesting when you look at these names and then you watch the season unfold between June and August and September and November. The first few names like Alberto, Tropical Storm Beryl, Chris, Debbie, those storms are usually remaining out at sea. It's just a trend we see through hurricane season. It's not until the L, the M storm, the N storm, the O storm, kind of towards the latter half of the name list, we get those stronger storms and stronger hurricanes because the closer you are to August, early September, the water is so warm. That is supercharging storms in the Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. And the westerly winds help transport all that rain and moisture in our direction. So again, Alberto, Chris, Debbie, they can be powerful storms, but they usually remain at sea. It's mainly towards the middle half and the last column of names that we typically start to worry about when the storms get more stronger and they closen in on the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the U.S. Later in the season. But again, we're expecting a pretty active season, but that's cool, Kirk. Hurricane Kirk, hopefully we get that, hopefully we get that far. I'm pretty sure we will. I think we're expecting like 20, no, I think we're expecting between 16 and 21 named storms this year. It's going to be a pretty active season because of La Nina moving in as a result. Okay, back to future radar. Who said tornadoes? Weather for Eagle Pass. Melissa will go into that in just a moment. Hennick, any record low temperatures in the forecast? I wish. I would love to see some lows, some morning temperatures in the 50s. We remember back to like February, March, April. That's when we had lows in the 50s and the 40s. But then when you get into June and July, it's just almost non-existent, unfortunately. You get those mornings that are humid in the 70s. We were talking about this last week. When you're near the coast, like Corpus Christi, Port A, Rockport, Port Lavaca, when you're near the water, it's a little bit more breezy, but in the mornings, it's just so humid that it's steamy outside. And some mornings in the last couple of weeks here in San Antonio have been that way. It's just been so humid. But yeah, no record low temperatures in the forecast, Henrik, unfortunately. I wish we did. But right now, pretty much just warm air in the morning and hot air in the afternoon. It's that time of year, June, July, August. We're in that routine, unfortunately. Okay, so let's time this out. So let's actually show you radar first. So that's a forecast model, and then here comes radar right now. So obviously San Antonio, it is quiet. I'll zoom in, and I'll put on my name so you can have that on there. So out west, these pink county shaded regions are severe thunderstorm watches. That's where they're expecting the most, the highest chance for storms tonight. Some of those will drift farther east towards Eagle Pass, Del Rio. At the moment, there's nothing. I'll stop the clock. There is a couple of severe storms north of the Big Bend area, east of Alpine, west of Sanderson. And that's obviously far removed from our area, but that's the highest threat for a severe storm at the moment. And for the next 30 minutes to an hour, that's western portion. That's not even in our viewing area, technically. It's towards San Angelo and West Texas and Big Bend. But anyway, that's where they're all, driving off the dry line. Dry line sets up in West Texas, and daytime heat will pop off storms pretty fast. Another storm way far northern Mexico, not a threat to us. But notice something we're watching very closely between now and about midnight. Some additional moisture moving farther east. And here's a forecast model. You'll see some of that moisture will move farther east towards Del Rio and Eagle Pass. Right now, Eagle Pass, I know a lot of folks are asking about that in Del Rio. Not a high threat. There will be a couple of isolated cells. At the moment, it's very low for Eagle Pass. Better chance for Del Rio, seeing a storm overnight. If that happens, 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., and some of that diminishes by the time it makes it to Uvalde, Pearsall. But this forecast model depicts a pretty good isolated storm anywhere from Del Rio, Hondo, Uvalde, Pearsall, Cotulla, and then weakening as it makes its way towards I-37 in Corpus Christi. Now, that's one model, that's one opinion on what the atmosphere could do overnight. Let me show you another opinion. I think that's how it's going to play out because this one's, the other one, I don't think it's initializing very well. Let's see. Let's double check. Yeah, so when we say initializing, how is this forecast model handling the rain that's out there right now? Now, you saw on radar, there's a storm way out in northern Mexico and a storm out near Sanderson and north of Big Bend. There are no storms in Del Rio, but this forecast model is saying there's a storm in Del Rio, meaning it's initializing poorly. It's not doing a good job at handling the rain, the thunderstorms that's out there right now. So that's why I don't trust this model too much, and a big reason why is because of how aggressive it is. Watch what happens as we move into 1 or 2 a.m. It forms a pretty strong line of storms. There is a slight chance that happens, but again, just to reiterate, the other model is doing a slightly better job at handling the storms that's out there right now. Regardless, we'll throw in a 30% chance at isolated storms overnight. That's about it. Maybe some rumbles of thunder and lightning, but I think that's the extent of our rain chance overnight. But just to go over it one more time, that was the graph model. Again, it's not initializing very well. We'll go back to the HRRR, a very reliable and good high-resolution model we use here at KENS 5. So again, just to go over that one more time, between now and midnight, quiet, couple of isolated storms in Del Rio, maybe an isolated shower overnight between 2 and 4 a.m., and some coastal activity by 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow. And there is a possibility we see some morning rain here in San Antonio. That's the latest. So this is about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'll have to adjust the forecast. So 30% overnight, probably a 20 to 30% primarily in the morning hours for early Sunday. And the rest of Sunday should be warm, sunny, highs in the 90s. a lot like today with less cloud cover, I think. So let's just put in a 30% chance for Sunday morning. The afternoon should be fine. So if you have any afternoon plans, if you're out in the backyard grilling tomorrow, after mid-morning, it'll be fine. But there will be a couple of isolated showers around tomorrow morning. So I'll put that in the forecast. Only 30% right now on the coverage across the area. So between Kerrville, Boerne, San Antonio, Floresville, Hallettsville, Gonzales, Hondo, Pearsall, and areas like that. So again, this HRRR model did update slightly. It's not saying much activity overnight, but maybe some increased moisture tomorrow morning. So something to keep in mind as you're getting ready on Sunday. Maybe you have an umbrella tomorrow morning, but again, rest of the day should be dry with highs in the middle 90s. All right, so Grace, good evening. Here's something about a supercell moving west-east, high winds and large hail. Yeah, Grace, we'll take a look at radar in just a moment. There is a pretty large thunderstorm west and far west of Del Rio towards Big Bend and near Sanderson, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. So let me just fix this forecast. This is for tomorrow. Starting at 7 a.m. This says noon, but I need to fix it real quick, real time, so bear with me, guys. Yeah, so 7, 8, 9 a.m., chance of an isolated storm. But after mid-morning, 10, 11, 12 p.m. rolls around, lunchtime rolls around, will be sunny and highs in the 90s. So we have that. Here's a look at some of the high-res, this is not good. Yeah, this is going based on the graph model, which is way too aggressive on the rain overnight. Better chance of rain tomorrow morning, isolated stuff, but yeah, that model right there you're seeing on your screen, way too aggressive on the rain moving in. I mean, I think if anything, we'll see in San Antonio a tenth to a quarter, maybe some localized pockets of a quarter to a half an inch, but nowhere near 2 inches of rain. That's way too aggressive on the rainfall outlook. Okay, so before we keep going, a lot of folks Grace is wondering about the cell out west. So let me take out this particular radar and show you sweeping radar. You'll get a better look at this storm. So you'll see as I zoom out west, a lot of lightning out there. There's that supercell southwest of Sanderson, Grace. It is a severe storm warning. It is a severe storm producing hail and strong straight line winds, probably on the range of 60 miles an hour or greater. I mean, it's a large storm moving across Brewster County and getting closer to Sanderson. But if you watch the movement of it, it has that southeast, southward motion to it. So I think if you're watching from Sanderson in our far western region, I mean, that's so far, you'll probably get clipped on a little bit of rain and some thunder, but most of the heavy action is now moving and entering northern Mexico, and that's about it on the action. You can kind of see on radar some of that blow-off moisture, the blow-off cloud cover from the thunderstorms out west in Mexico. That moisture is moving in our direction, so we'll have to watch how that interacts with some of our local weather conditions. That may lead to some isolated activity overnight. Some of our models are definitely depicting that, but again, keyword is isolated. We're not expecting a large line of storms, just some isolated activity between midnight and about 4 a.m. with some more additional activity maybe around 7 and 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for early Sunday morning plans. So again, that's the look at radar. Let me show you the upper level pattern. It is favorable for at least daily evening rain chances, kind of like what we're seeing out west. Storms will pop off the dry line and then try and move their way farther east. Some nights through next week, some nights that those storms will be successful on moving closer to I-10, closer to I-35. Some nights, like tonight, they'll just fall apart and weaken and rain out. And that's about it. But because of where this high pressure is located and how weak it is, that's the good news. Over the next couple days, we'll have evening rain chances. Daytime heat produces popped off thunderstorms, and that's about it. By Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, this ridge of high pressure strengthens out west and across North Texas as well. But what that will do is increase the heat. So I think by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're hitting 100 degrees. Mornings, 78, 77, that's about it. Probably a little bit of morning fog each morning, probably patchy because of just how much humidity is in the air. But yeah, triple digit heat, 100 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, 71 is normal in the mornings, 91 is normal in the afternoons, and the fact that we're hitting 96 to 100 every single day, it's just abnormal based on average temperatures in early June. So, yeah. All right, yeah, you're welcome, Grace. Of course, always here to help and give you guys updates on the weather. We need to save rain at Medina Lake. We need rain. Yeah, man. I mean, Charles, it's just so bad. The last report I did about Medina Lake a couple weeks ago, it was at 2.7% full. Probably not better than that right now. We're just not, we're in the springtime, March, April, May, we got good rain in San Antonio and around the region, but the rain's just not falling in the right spots to funnel into Medina Lake, into the aquifer and areas like that. So, yeah, we do need, we saw decent rain this spring. It was not bad. We're doing well on our year-to-date rainfall. It's not bad here in San Antonio and across the region. But just because we got a few months worth of good rain, we need consecutive months and consecutive years of rain. I mean, literally. So, yeah, we need a lot more than just what we've had in the last few months. Will Del Rio get hit from that storm by Sanderson? Thank you, Justin. Yeah. Let me show you. We were looking at this earlier. So both of our high-resolution models are not initializing the best. This is the HRRR. It's saying storms right near Del Rio, not initializing well. Here's the other graph model, not initializing well at all because it's saying rain that's in Del Rio right now, but there's no rain in Del Rio right now. So if we're going to go based on a forecast model, which it does pick up on the storm near Sanderson in northern Mexico, it's not perfect on its placement and location, but watch what happens. It weakens generally as it moves southeast. So I think that'll be the trend. If you're watching from Del Rio, Charles, I would give your chances maybe 20 to 30% by about midnight, 1 a.m. that storm moves in your direction. But generally, the consensus of model guidance right now for that storm out near Sanderson, it just weakens. Reason for that is because the dry line pops off storms in the daytime. It relies on daytime heat, and when temperatures are warm in the 90s and near 100 degrees, that's fuel. But towards midnight, 1, 2 a.m., we're really cooling off, and we lose daytime heat, and we lose that fuel. So I don't think we'll see much activity in the overnight. A couple of isolated showers, isolated storms. A south wind here in San Antonio may produce a couple of isolated downpours around 7, 8, and 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Something to keep in mind if you're running errands tomorrow morning or getting your day going. That's after sunrise. So if you're out early on the roads tomorrow morning, should be dry. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy and warm. Temperatures right around 79, and there will be a couple of just isolated downpours around between here, Kerrville, Seguin, Hallettsville, Victoria, and towards the coastal bend, towards Corpus Christi and areas like that. So, but yeah, Charles, just a small chance. I'm sorry, Justin. Small chance that storm by Sanderson makes it to you. I think overall, by and large, it'll weaken by the time it makes it towards the Rio Grande and Val Verde County, at least where you are in Val Verde County. And also, that model wasn't doing the best job at initializing. You can kind of see it has that southerly component to it. So I'll stop the clock. It if anything, it has that south and southeast motion to it. So if anything, it's going to impact the mountains of Mexico, well off the Rio Grande. And it'd be nice to have some rain in our area, but I don't think you'll have to be worried about that cell out west, Justin. So we'll watch that closely. But anyway, just isolated storms overnight. Small chance at an isolated shower in San Antonio, 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And you'll see that in the forecast. Most of tomorrow, quiet and partly cloudy and sunny, but there will be a 30% chance, an outside chance at an isolated downpour between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. The rest of the day is dry, 96, same thing on Monday. Triple digits waiting for us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're welcome, Justin. Yeah, we do. I wish we can get some more rain, man. We try and add rain chances to the forecast, and they're just nothing better than 20 to 30% in the overnight. It's a lot like tonight, will be a lot like tomorrow night, and Monday night and Tuesday night, where the coverage is just running 30% at best on isolated activity. Mainly forming out west and then trying to survive a trip towards San Antonio, towards I-10, the hill country. But a lot of these storms and a lot of these showers that start out west during the day, they just rain out, they lose their strength, and they fizzle out by the time they make it anywhere near us, unfortunately. But we'll throw in a 20 to 30% chance on those evening and early morning rain chances. Big weather story, we're back in the triple digits by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right around 100 degrees, running about 10 degrees above average for June. But it is June. Today is the first day of meteorological summer, but the first day of astronomical summer, which most people acknowledge, is June 20th later on this month. So technically we're still in spring, but these are not spring-like temperatures, as you can see. Mid-90s through Monday, 100s through Thursday, and still right around 100 Friday and Saturday with just minimal rain chances during the day and through the evening. Small chance of rain between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Something to keep in mind as you get your early morning started for early Sunday. That'll be it for weather, guys. Have a great Sunday and have a great rest of your weekend. Be safe. It's going to be hot next 7 days. Stay cool. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. It's going to be hot, sunny, and highs near 100 degrees by the middle of next week. Again, be safe. And we'll continue to watch that supercell out west near Sanderson. But right now, no immediate impacts to our area. And that does include Del Rio, Eagle Pass, all the way to San Antonio in our South Texas region. Have a great Saturday night, guys. Be safe, and we'll see you later.